they don't know how stand-up works. They think I'm like divulging a secret almost on stage or talking about something that's touchy for me. When in reality, I've said this joke 1,000 times and I know how it's going to go. And I'm not uncomfortable. You shouldn't be uncomfortable. Yeah. But every audience, it's the first time they're hearing it. So every time they go, oh my God, I'm just learning this guy has like an Oxycontin addiction and he doesn't. And like the way I talk about it, I'm not like ashamed and I don't feel bad. And I really don't. I don't take the angle that most people take, which is like, oh, drug addicts, they're such victims, you know, which is like how America sees them. When in reality, I like to try and be like, I'm not really a victim. Like I was the one doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. No one got me addicted to Oxycontin. It was me. Right. You know what I mean? Which is a truth people don't really want to hear.
And welcome to Tyler Is Groce Podcast with me, Tyler Groce, talking to his very successful friends about life and comedy and growth. What are you doing to improve yourself? How are you trying to get better? What have you done? Where are you going? And I want this information also that I can beat them in life and comedy, whatever we have in common. I'm trying to destroy them. And who did I destroy this week? My boy Jamie Wolf, man. Jamie Wolf is a great episode. He's a funny dude, funny comic in New York. I'm touring all over the place. Check him out. We got Jamie Wolf Comedy on Instagram. If you sign up for his email list, so that you can tell him where to perform and he'll come around. If you just, all you have to do, it's so easy. All you have to do is simply go to jamiewolfcomedy.com and you can check that out. He has a podcast, Wolf Family Therapy Podcast. And then we have the Sobroity podcast, like sobriety, but with bros. That's what it is. So check both of those out. Both very fun podcasts, very funny conversation. I like Jamie. He gets vulnerable. He gets personal. He talks about his past. He talks about drug addiction. He talks about all sex stuff. He talks about everything. Ideal guest. You're going to love him. I love him. Check out my stuff. Got TJ Groce on Instagram. In that link tree, you can sign up for my email list. Just go ahead and tell me where you want me to perform. Put in a thing. Put in the city. Put in the email. I'll come there. I'll perform. And just all the other stuff that I put online on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok is Tyler Groce. Something. You can find me. And then... it's all in the link tree. TJ Groce on Instagram, tylerisgroce.com, tylerisgroce@gmail.com. You can find me. It's all in the description. Like it, subscribe it, do all the things. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. You're going to like this one. Jamie Wolf, he's the dude. Enjoy. The face, they can only see a little video game character.
So you don't do accents? Like you would never go full in on like a really stereotypical Asian accent or like a white woman?
I wouldn't do it at work, no.
No, okay.
No. in my regular life, well, what's the context? Is it gonna get a laugh? I'll do it for a laugh.
In my regular life, are we talking camera off? Sure.
I love, you know what my favorite thing is white comics who do accents.
Like of other races?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why?
Because they're going for it, man.
Yeah, I like to see someone go for it.
If it works, I mean, if they're just being like, aren't these ching chongs weird? You know, like that wouldn't be okay. I didn't feel great about saying.
I was shocked that you said it right then. I didn't know what to say when you said these words twice.
Maybe that would be the nicest thing.
Yeah,
but like if they're like there was a white comic I knew, and he was just like, yeah, I just been thinking about Chinese accents a lot.
He said it on stage?
Yeah, like he was like doing the accents on stage, and it was it was one of those like, ooh, but it was funny. And I just like people trying.
Yeah, I love when you go for it. Yeah. Did that work? Was that like a bit that audiences liked, or was it working in front of comics?
This was in Texas.
So yeah,
the audience they were into it.
It's very different.
I mean, there's certain parts of even Austin where there's like the parts of Austin where it's like, there's Bushwick Austin.
Yeah.
And then you get a little bit outside where, less city, and suddenly it's, woo! Heart of America.
They're not even laughing.
Austin.
Yeah.
It's like, I wrote a joke there. Like, we're like,
I don't
white
know.
Power. Those ching chongs. Like, what? That's not what I said.
Hold on. I had some nuance. All I heard was the accent. Yeah. That's hilarious. Like the guys that became fans of Shane Gillis after seeing the one clip.
Which clip got him pop?
Just the racist clip that got him.
Oh, right. Yeah. They're like, this guy.
The one where he said the slur. They're like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't.
But he did.
I think I did watch it or hear about it, and it was like, yeah, he was really going in, dog.
He was going in.
He was really going in.
He was going for it. I actually understand.
And then you know what? But then he lost SNL.
Yeah.
And now he's better than SNL.
Yeah. Well, his life only improved. I mean, he'll never see it that way. He'll see himself as a victim, but it obviously was a good outcome for him.
Yeah, I think so.
He can say whatever he wants now and he's richer than anyone on SNL.
Yeah.
By a lot.
He's
not anyone, like probably not Che or like Colin Jost, but like most any of the cast members, he's way more money. Way more money.
It's like he's like, yeah, I'm good enough for SNL, but just too hot for them. Come see me, Phoenix, Arizona. You know, how is that not an appealing?
I know.
Because he went for it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, she shouldn't have said that shit. Mm-hmm. Just that's for them. Hey, he shouldn't have said that shit.
Off camera, I support him thoroughly.
I also don't like Andrew Yang. I don't really care for him. But like, you know, he went for it. He stumbled.
Yeah.
They found it and they fucked him up. But then, but he's continued on that path. Probably refined his shit, and now he's better. He's
such a better comedian. Yeah. He's such a better comedian.
That's great.
It's kind of interesting to see him live now. But wait, what was the point of this? I love to see people go in. That's so fun to me. Like I'll see someone do I'll see a black comic go at white people in a white room. Eagle Wit, you've seen Eagle Wit?
No.
He'll just be like, white people fucking suck. Mm-hmm. And I like seeing that in front of a white audience because they're like kind of angry, but in New York they're like, we have to kind of go with them. And then I like seeing the opposite too, which is like Gary Owen, like, black people, you guys do this. Mm-hmm. He'll just like say it in front of a black audience.
Well, black people love that shit though.
I know it is kind of unfair because it's like you're
if it's true.
I know.
If you're just like, yo, man, y'all sure are lazy. It's like, well, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
If it's like, man, y'all really love the color purple, but like not the movie, like just wearing purple.
That's kind of a funny bit.
It's been rattling around in my head. Not specifically that, but like just there's I don't know. I just feel like growing up there was a stereotype that like, yeah, black people love the color just purple. What's black people's favorite color? Purple. Like what is it? 4 million people in America. Purple. All of them. Everyone's favorite color is purple. And if it's not purple, then you ain't really black, man. You ain't really about the culture, man.
Why do you think that is? Like, do you think the stereotype was because of literally the color purple?
I mean, what came first? The love of the color purple, or the movie, The Color Purple? I don't know.
I don't know either. The way I would read that is someone heard that there was a film called The Color Purple,
and they were at brunch. And there's a black family like, we love The Color Purple.
Exactly.
What a beautiful, beautiful thing The Color Purple is.
A super
And then some
specific.
white people were just like, Jesus, they love purple.
The way white people tend to. That's such a white person thing, is to just any one passing comment. Oh my God, black people love purple.
Love them. I don't know. But I think so I was looking over some of your clips, just to get in the Jamie Wolf vibe, and see what I like about your comedy is you go in, you're not saying racist shit, but you're like, it feels like you're really like being vulnerable up there.
Oh yeah, I get vulnerable, dude,
crying and boo-hooing. Ruining people's night. It's not cool, man.
I like how sad you get openly in public on the comedy stage. That's cool.
I love it's like all even just like scroll, because you know it's TikTok, it's Instagram. You want it to be catchy, you want people to pay attention, but even your shit is like, no, but this is just some real shit. Yeah, this is some this boom, this boom, and it's like you're going in. Yeah, we're doing this thing. We're funny people. We have we have not a platform, but we have a literal stage that we can talk to people on. What are we going to talk about? You're going to talk about some real shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of that's it kind of connects to what we're just talking about. But I feel like, you know, I like seeing someone go in like an Andrew Schultz too. He'll just like make jokes where you're like, oh, you can't make that joke. And I don't even love his comedy. Not all of it. I love some of it. I really like some of it. I don't like. But on the whole, I just like how he says exactly what he thinks. You can tell there's no filter.
Yeah.
He's not like,
you got to respect it.
You have to respect that.
And what works is he says it and it's like, and I think me and him, me and my buddy Andrew, we really, like, I think both of us, we like, if we say something crazy, like, I'm just being a rascal.
Yeah. Yeah, you do that. You do that also.
A little bit. I'm like, it's me.
Yes.
I'm not hurting nobody.
Yes.
I'm just being silly. And he does that too, which, that lets him get away with a lot.
It's the only way you can do it, because otherwise you seem like a serious guy making serious points, and that's scary.
Those ching chongs.
You're really coming back to those two words in a row, multiple times. No, but
when I clip this up and you're condoning this,
when you get SNL next year, dude, this is gonna be a nightmare.
We'll see. I'm doing this. I'm trying to burn it all down with the podcast.
Yeah, why not?
Either it's gonna work or it's not.
That's the point. And either you delete it or you don't.
My apologies to all.
I feel like canceling people has given people a way to figure out how to not get canceled. The way is you would learn you got SNL, you delete every single thing you ever created online, and then no one would be able to find it or cancel you. But my point was like, I like how he goes for shit, like even if it could be offensive. But my favorite thing and my favorite type of comedy is seeing someone say something that makes the people genuinely uncomfortable in the audience. Right. Not in an offensive way, in a, I don't want to hear this kind of way. Like, I don't want to hear him talk about this subject.
Do you think the stuff you talk about does that?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of bits I do.
I don't know all your bits, but I'm just trying to think of some stuff that I saw.
None of the stuff really online, because I'm posting stuff that doesn't really do that.
Right.
And here's why: is online in the room, you have to stay. Right. When I bring up this subject, no one gets up and leaves in the room. Yeah. But online, if you go, this makes me uncomfortable, you scroll immediately. Yeah. You never hear them out.
Like your female genital mutilation joke probably wouldn't kill on. It probably wouldn't kill on Instagram.
Yes, exactly.
I would save that one.
Yeah, my pro female genital mutilation joke, as well as pro euthanasia.
Yeah,
joke.
Yeah, both of those probably wouldn't work.
That one wouldn't work.
But I'm trying to think. Like you,
my joke about let's get back to the roots of Planned Parenthood, which is eugenics. That joke probably wouldn't work.
It's a history. What's fun about it is it's a history lesson too. That's what's interesting.
Ultimately, you learn when you hear that joke. No, but my point is like. So I have some stuff about like say anxiety or I was addicted to drugs like Oxycontin, and that makes people really uncomfortable for me to even bring up as a subject in a comedy set. You can just feel it and see it. You literally see them like smiling, listening to other jokes, and then you bring it up and they just stone faced immediately.
What do you think it is? I mean, I imagine they're just like worried for you.
Yeah, they're worried for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also like becoming uncomfortable because they feel like they don't know how stand-up works. They think I'm like divulging a secret almost on stage or talking about something that's touchy for me. When in reality, I've said this joke 1,000 times and I know how it's going to go. And I'm not uncomfortable. You shouldn't be uncomfortable. Yeah. But every audience, it's the first time they're hearing it. So every time they go, oh my God, I'm just learning this guy has like an Oxycontin addiction and he doesn't. And like the way I talk about it, I'm not like ashamed and I don't feel bad. And I really don't. I don't take the angle that most people take, which is like, oh, drug addicts are such victims, which is like how America sees them. Right. When in reality, I like to try and be like, I'm not really a victim. Like I was the one doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one got me addicted to Oxycontin. It was me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is a truth people don't really want to hear. I don't say that on stage, but I try to bring up the subject in a way where I'm like, I'm not approaching it from the angle they would approach it, which is as soon as they say it, they would go, and by the way, I know it's like a disease and it's a real problem.
Yeah. You're trying to like, do you think is that a comedic perspective that you're taking on, or do you really feel like, no, like I just got hooked on that shit. It was fun. And then it went too far. And then, you know what I mean? Like, I understand you're approaching it differently than others. You're not trying to be like, you're not doing that. But how do you really feel about it?
So how I really feel about it is a combination. I mean, I feel like that's most things, because you're right. The comedic perspective is oversimplifying it as well.
Right.
But then their perspective is also oversimplifying it. But I think the way I really feel about it is like, there was clearly such a serious point to make, but there were clearly societal.
This is exactly what his stand-up is like.
There were clearly structural and societal incentives towards fucking over people and getting them addicted to OxyContin. But that still doesn't relinquish agency from the individuals that became addicted later. Like, at any time when you're getting addicted, when you're starting to develop a dependency on something emotionally, you can stop yourself. And I didn't do that. And all these people didn't do that. The first time you take Oxy, it's not like a switch. You're not addicted immediately. It feels good, but you're not, it's like there's more of a role for you as an agent of your own life to have said no, and you didn't.
Okay.
To have stopped. Just for Oxy.
Right.
I'm not saying that for it's true for everything. But I'm saying like this, and also it's kind of just annoying to me as someone who was addicted to Oxy. Right. I'm just like, it doesn't help. Your pity doesn't help.
Right.
Did you try and stop it? Have you done anything to help? So no. So then, what helps is maybe just laugh at the joke and chill. But really, truly, none of the people ever in the audiences, the people that really like the Oxy stuff, guess who?
They're like,
They're on Oxy, or they were addicted to Oxy.
Yeah.
Addicts love that shit.
Yeah.
And other people feel uncomfortable about it because they don't understand the emotional truth of it, which is more complex than, it was only bad.
Right.
Like, I can't say this on stage. It's hard to get this point across, but a lot of it is like nostalgic in a way, because there were really fun times with people that I really enjoyed at a time in my life. The issue is like the behavior got out of control later. But that doesn't mean that those times weren't really fun.
I mean, it's like a bad relationship.
Yes, that's exactly what I say on stage, but it's not funny. It's just accurate.
Okay.
People go, yeah, that's what it's like.
I've dated. It's like I was dating OxyContin. It started off good, and then it went sour.
Yeah, and she got fucking crazy.
And that doesn't work? Seems like you could make that work.
No, I mean, I'll try it again. I don't know. It hasn't worked yet.
I'll write it down.
I think part of it is that people, it's part of the nature of the sets I'm doing. I think in a longer set, the OxyContin stuff works a lot better because they get to know you, and they also feel you can talk for longer about every subject. When I'm doing 8 minutes in Manhattan, you can't get there. Yeah. You just can't get
because for the first like 15 minutes, they're just like, we want to laugh. And then maybe after that, they're like, you can just be yourself. And I'll
exactly.
What's making me think about is like I think about like there's like macro and micro, right? Ways to view an issue or a problem, or like a human issue has like micro reasons and macro reasons. And the macro reasons are society. There are corporations, there's drug companies, there's laws, there's all these people who are trying to get people addicted to the shit so they can sell it, so they can make a lot of money.
Yes.
And it's their choice if they want to, but we're also going to set it up so that it's really easy for them to get it. And if they do get hooked, they can continue to get it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And whatever. But then there also is the micro element where it's like you are, like you're saying, you are a person who can make choices, and you did choose to go and try it, and you did choose to go back. You could have chosen otherwise.
Yes.
And like looking at an issue like this, I feel like, or like it's like you're looking at an issue, it's like very compassionate to view drug addicts as victims of a system that has mistreated them or doesn't care. I don't think that that's a bad way to view it. But if you are the drug addict, you can't just look at yourself. You can't walk around like, look what they did to me. Like you just can't do that and get over it and then be a full person. You have to be like, I did that shit.
Yeah.
And like people can't, I guess crowds or dumb people or just groups of people can't hold both of those things at the same time. Where it's like, I was a victim of a system and I actively chose to be a part of that shit.
Yeah.
Because that shit was good.
Yeah.
And I had my homies and that was the best time of my life. It ruined everything.
Because I feel like people think of it kind of like they think of racism, where it's like you have nothing to do with it. It's just fully a systematic thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't control that people hate you because you're black.
Yeah.
But that's not what it is for drugs, because you're choosing. It's like if you had to take a pill every day that made you black, maybe. Maybe that would be true.
Have you said that? That's fucking great.
Okay, maybe I haven't said that.
The black drug addicts are going to go nuts when they hear that. Oh my God, they're going to love it.
You know what I mean? But that's what I was taking it every day. I was an active choice every time I took it. And now, yeah, sure, when you're like threatened with withdrawal, when you stop taking it, that's a totally different story. But you don't. Yeah, it's more complex. I guess it's kind of like everything, every issue where it's like it's totally valid, and sometimes I feel that sense of like I'm a victim of this larger system. Like I read a book on the Sacklers who started the opioid crisis, and they created OxyContin, and they knew it was addictive like immediately. Mm-hmm. Like their studies confirmed immediately that it was addictive.
Right.
And they didn't do anything. In fact, they covered it up, and they started trying to get people hooked, and they started like, there's no limit to how much they would prescribe. They started trying to get people to do bigger and bigger pills, and like they started prescribing like 60 milligrams, which just 4 of them can kill you.
Right.
Just 4 of those pills.
They would just give you like 30 in a bottle or something?
Yeah. And they would just give you a whole bottle of that
ridiculous.
Because they just wanted to make more and more money. But anyway, so sometimes I feel like when I'm reading that book, I'm like, these people fucked my life up. But then other times I'm like, yeah, but you were also there the whole time.
But the friends I made along the way.
It is like a fucked up Disney movie kind of.
Yeah. Mm. That's interesting. So how long was that period? What time frame were we talking about?
It was like 3 years. I was 16 when I was like 19. Mm-hmm. In like high school. Yes. Yeah. Wait, what?
Well, it didn't affect your studies.
Oh, did I finish high school? Yeah. Well, I was what they call a functional addict.
Okay.
Which is, I do it a bit about it in my stand-up, but it
You're
doesn't.
like those cool kids that were like sleepy in class.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's literally exactly. It was more like the cool kids that were itchy in class and couldn't sit still.
Okay.
Because I would take it like in the morning or like at lunch. So you'd have a high for a couple hours, and then by like late in the day or like before lunch, if you took it in the morning, you would just this all the time.
What? Why?
Legit.
Why are you itchy?
It just makes you. I don't know. It's just like once it starts to wear off, you get itchy and you get so mad, like so irritable.
Really?
Like that quick. That fast.
It's like you're like, okay, I'm chilling, and then it just
the come down is always the same. It's like euphoria, and then the come down is so.
Is it like that from the jump? The first time you do it is the come down.
Yeah,
that
really
bad?
quick.
The
first time.
Yeah,
not the first
time.
time.
I'm like, I mean, I like drugs, but like, if there was a real shitty aspect of a drug, like I'm proud.
Not at the
I've done
beginning.
shrooms and had great times,
Yes.
and then like my first bad trip, I'm like, I don't know about this.
Never.
Nah,
Never
I don't know
again.
about this, man.
Wait, what was the bad trip like?
Oh, it's just honestly, like I did shrooms a lot in college. Me and my best friend, we used to grow them. And
You grew your own shrooms?
Yeah,
psilocybin shrooms?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's really not hard at all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's like step one. What you do is you get some jars, some mason jars. You put in a substrate. It's brown rice flour and vermiculite. You can find vermiculite at Home Depot. Brown rice flour at You can also grind up brown rice and make it into flour.
Can I interrupt quickly? You don't need a specific like seed to seed psilocybin shrooms. You can just use.
No. So that's the substrate. That's the soil.
Okay.
That's the soil.
Okay.
You order
off the dark web.
No, you can fucking off the Amazon. You order psilocybin spores. Comes in like a needle injector, and you put it in there, and you inject it, and you have to sterilize it.
Wow.
You sterilize the thing. You inject it in there. It grows into what the shroom growers call a cake. So because it's this white little thing. And then you put that cake into a moist area. They sell like special bags, fucking shroom bags. You put it in there, and you just keep it wet, moist, and then that moisture draws out the mushrooms.
The fungus is created.
Yeah. So it really was. It wasn't like this wasn't a Breaking Bad situation. It really was more like a home garden situation where it was just like I just make enough for me and my friends. Just like every few months, like we have about 8 grams, and we just have.
Really, you would grow 8 grams?
That's usually what the pull, I think.
So every 3 or 4 months, you have like enough for 3 people to trip, 2 or 3 people.
Yeah, but it was a real bitch to upkeep.
Really?
Because you had to just spray it multiple times a day, and then I would come home from work and like spray during lunch, and then go back to work. I'm
really?
Like, this is not.
Oh wow. Okay.
This is getting
intensive.
Yeah. This is kind of a bitch.
You really were like a gardener.
Yeah, it was really like we were just doing it because we didn't know where to get it. We were in a town, and yeah. So in college we would do that, and we had fun. And just all the beauty, all the euphoria, the universe connected. We went hard. We were doing 3, 4, 5 grams. We were just going.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were going deep into there.
Damn. Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I've only ever done. I think the most I've done is like 3.5, maybe 4 in one
and that's
trip.
plenty. I think my best and most intense was like I think maybe like 4.5 grams.
Wow.
So that was good.
Damn.
And it was just I was fucking.
Dude.
It's Terrence McKenna.
Yeah.
So he says like you never have to worry about taking too little, or you never have to worry about taking too much. You just have to worry about taking too little.
No.
And I feel like there's some truth.
All.
There's some truth to it where like if you're right on that border, like your ego is gonna fight it. But if you take enough to push your ego out of the way, then you can just enjoy
interesting.
It. Yeah.
Okay. So you found that to be true.
I mean, whenever I took 4.5 grams, it was a lot, but I was just like, blah, 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 and then a lot. I got a lot out of that one.
There was no you there to experience it badly.
I really felt like if like a video game, like fucking Mortal Kombat life meter,
Yeah.
And it was like normally I'm 100% Tyler, and it was like I was like 30% Tyler and like 70% shrooms. Like I was like it mostly I was like I'm here, but man, this is some crazy shit. It was really good. I had I closed my eyes and I like a corny like farming commercial. It was like I saw a seed go in the ground and then the leaves sprout and then the farmer pick the thing and then like it was like the circle. It felt very. I was like, whoa, I'm connected to something.
So this was every couple months, right? This is what
it was maybe like a couple times a year, more realistically, but
2-3 times a year.
But
so
then I had the bad trip.
I was gonna say what happened on the bad trip. Did you take too much?
No, I think it's set and setting. I think maybe I think in college I had no worries, and then after college,
this was post college.
No, post college, I'm like, oh yeah, no, life's like
brutal.
It's just like I hate my job and I take shrooms. You fucking hate your job.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
You gotta stop. You're dying slowly.
Yeah. Or like I remember I had sex. I had like a one night stand with a girl
on shrooms.
No. It's just normal. Yeah. And then no condom, stranger, which is it happens.
Yeah,
but you never love it. And then I take shrooms and I'm in the mirror and I'm like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You close your eyes, you see your child growing in her belly and then coming out 9 months later.
I was thinking more like STD stuff. Like, this is...
really?
I'm like, who is this person? You don't know?
Dude, the bigger fear for me is creating a life by accident and then having to deal with that the rest of your and their life.
We're in New York,
That's what would scare me.
These girls are cool, man.
Yeah, they've got IUDs and stuff.
No, I mean they'll get rid of it.
They'll get rid of it. Yeah,
these girls are cool.
You'll say ching chong all day, but you won't say abortion on the podcast.
That's inappropriate. That's why.
That's a sin.
But yeah, no. I mean, once you yeah. So then, basically, like once life started happening, shrooms got a lot harder to do. It became less fun and more like there was good parts and bad parts.
Damn, dude. See, I haven't done shrooms since college. I did a lot of shrooms from when I was 16 to when I was like 22. Not a lot. Sounds like a little more. Well, no, about as frequently as you.
Yeah,
Twice,
we like to do. It would be every 6 months. We were like,
yeah,
it's about time.
Same here, yeah. And that's, by the way, that's a perfect amount of time to wait. You shouldn't do it too much. Those people go insane. And then you shouldn't do it too little. Those people are losers.
Fucking lame.
Yeah,
fucking nerd ass bitches. That's what they are. Fucking lame bitch ass. Fucking nerds, dweebs.
Yeah.
What
the fuck are you doing?
But I went to do ayahuasca once, and it was in Colorado. It was like in the woods. It was like you get off the freeway, and then you go on that road, and then you get off that road, and then you go on a dirt road, and then you get off the dirt road. It was like 17 miles into the woods.
Whoa.
And it's just, we heard about them.
Yeah.
And we go in there. And,
Are you in college at this point?
No, this was last year.
Oh, this was last year.
This was last year.
Okay.
This was last year. And the thing is, like, these were ayahuasca people, and just they're like, welcome, hi, Tyler, we were expecting you.
Wait, was that off-putting? That would scare the fuck out of me.
I mean, listen, we were in the woods. Like, they could have killed us and buried our bodies, and no one would have known.
Yes. That's what I would be thinking the whole time.
Done.
I'd be thinking Midsommar. Have you seen Midsommar?
No, I haven't. Should have watched it right before.
Ritual sacrifice. Okay, so you get there.
So we get there, and then hi. And he seemed genuinely like a nice guy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was genuinely like, wow, like whatever you got, I wish I had.
Okay. Not in a creepy way.
But also, I don't want it at all. I wish I had your warmth and openness, but I don't wish I had that sort of glaze to your eye that's just like, oh, you've done this too much.
Yeah.
You've done this way too much.
Yeah.
You're in a, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing because, that I think that's the thing. I don't know about you where you are with like shrooms and spirituality and stuff like that, but like I love the idea of being in touch with all of that.
Yeah.
But I hate the idea of being disconnected from the world.
Yes.
In that weird way.
Too in touch with that.
Yeah.
You need to be in the middle of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be in touch with the spiritual while living in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I'm so interested to hear about ayahuasca. I've been interested in doing it, but afraid to do it. It's sort of like salvia or DMT to me. I'm like, it's just a little scary.
I wish I had a better story for you, but it was actually pretty, I think it was just bunk. I think the ayahuasca, I think the juice was not good juice.
No way.
So I like that 4.5 shrooms trip. That was crazy. Yeah. This was like in the middle of it. I was like, I'm hungry.
No way. You got
yeah, I got hungry.
That's how you know it's not working.
Yeah, and even my ex that I was with, she went and she got a second cup, and she was like, it was more intense, but like, I think it was just like some bunk stuff. I could see how if you took enough, it could like really fucking get you.
Yeah.
And there was a moment that I saw like a fish just over there, but then it went away. I don't know. I felt like I would like to do it again, but I also asked Mother Ayahuasca for a mild trip, and she gave it to me. So
I see.
Who's
that was your request?
It was my request. I was like, I need a mild trip because I can't handle this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you done salvia or DMT? It's like really out there.
Never done DMT. I would maybe. That seems really scary.
Scary.
You've done them?
No.
And then salvia.
No, I'm saying this is the stuff I wouldn't do. Even ayahuasca, I was scared to do. And then for the same reason.
And then salvia. People's pitch for salvia seems to be like, "Hey, do you want to feel awful for like 10 minutes?
Yes.
You want to smoke this? It's horrible." It's like, what? I think I'm too old. I'm like, no. At 19, you're like, fucking, exactly, hey, 10 minutes ain't that long.
Something bad, good.
Yeah. I'm like, I get enough horrible out of fucking life, dude. I'm not doing all that shit.
Yeah, dude. That is kind of, I didn't even think about this because I haven't actually done any psychedelics since college, but it would be weird to do it now, especially weird to do it when you have a day job and like, oh man, I have like a dog and I could not. That would make me so uncomfortable.
Just looking at your dog?
Yeah.
I think have you heard?
That
I think
would scare
they get uncomfortable.
the fuck out of me. The dogs do?
I think because they see your eyes dilated and it's like, something's not right, man.
Ooh, that would be creepy as shit.
Right, man.
Yes.
What's weird is they say it like, hey dog, something's not right, man, dude. Are you talking? Yeah, man. Sounds weird, dude.
Like, weird, brother.
So the premise of the podcast,
yes,
is talking about life, and we have been talking about that, but struggles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it seems like what we're talking about with your vulnerability, with your stuff you're putting on stage, talking about the heroin, talking about whatever. I mean, I think the big thing was like therapy. You talk about therapy on stage. Talk about anxiety on stage. It seems like you and I even saw like a self-help joke.
Yes.
And I know these places. If you are the comic, you seem like a comic where it's like my jokes are coming from somewhere.
Yeah,
I'm not just like this book. Let's try to know this book. What's funny? What about this? What about this? Like it seems like we're talking about your life.
Yeah.
So like it seems like therapy, self-help is something that is a world that you might be a part of a little bit.
100%. Yeah. I feel because forever I was like embarrassed and scared to talk about it, but this is kind of so. I started comedy when I was like. I think I had just turned 20. Maybe I was still 19. I think I just turned 20 like a month before, and then or 2 months before, and then I started doing stand up every day. So I was pretty young when I started, like 20. That's pretty young.
Yeah.
It's not like the youngest, but that's fairly young. And then the first like 3.5 years of comedy is like, I was like truly, you're a loser in any capacity. But I started when I was like still in college and I had just moved to New York. So I didn't even have like friends. So I wasn't like a loser in comedy, which is where you start no matter what. I was like a loser in life.
Right.
Like truly like just didn't get laid. My dick didn't work. I was very socially anxious.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get really good, as good as I could get at comedy at the time. That was like my focus. And then I just wasn't literally not talking about anything that was happening in my life for like a while. Like for like 3 or 4 years. And every time I would try and do a joke that was based on like a real experience, it just wouldn't work. And I think part of it is I was doing a lot of open mics and I wasn't performing in front of audiences because it's like the exact opposite. Like I feel like an open mic, it's rewarding you for writing a good joke and being as not vulnerable as possible. And then I feel like with audiences, oftentimes it's really just as personal to you, not personal in like deep, but as in personal, I mean like telling a story that happened to you.
Right.
I see really bad comics.
As individual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see really bad comics get away with doing well because they're just telling stories about their lives, like kind of silly anecdotes. And there's no like jokes at all. It's not funny.
Right.
Like they have no structure to it. But people like that because that's what they know in their life as funny. Is like someone telling a funny story.
My funny friend told a funny story.
Yes.
And they don't have structure.
Yes.
So and it's the same.
And all comedians are autistic for like good jokes. Just like a funny joke. So for the first 4 years I was just writing like observational jokes that really didn't have anything to do with my experiences. And I got really frustrated. And honestly, as the pandemic hit, and I really did do a like I guess like almost not a postmortem, but like if it were a postmortem on something that's still happening.
But you fucking buried your old persona.
Yeah, I was just sitting there, and I'm like, it was like sort of my mortality too. I'm like, what am I gonna just die not having talked about any of the experiences I actually had?
What's really funny about this is it sounds like you were like 23 at the time.
Yeah, it was like 23, 24. But I also had been through stuff that I was like, I actually like want to say things about.
Right.
Why did I do drugs? It was anxiety. What it was the experience of doing drugs like? And then what's the experience of like living your life as an anxious person even before that? So I was like, and then also at the same time, well, kind of all my life until like a year ago, I had really bad ED because I was anxious, and I was on Oxy, which also fucks up your dick. So I was like, just not talking about any of that.
Right.
And then I started being like, wait, these are the experiences I've had. I don't really have perspective on experiences I haven't had. So why am I doing jokes about things I tangentially, like I did a lot of race jokes, and I was like, I do come from like a very diverse area. But I'm like, I don't know that much more about race than any other person, but I know a lot more about anxiety.
You were shocked that black people love purple.
I didn't know black people love purple. I don't know. I don't know what the color purple is. I don't know if it's a book or a movie. And no,
or a play. I don't know where it started.
I literally don't know where it started. But I didn't know that much more. And I was also like, why me? Am I talking about this? Like comics talk about this all the time. I'm like, it's just like I wanted to be more personal to my experiences. So I started writing jokes about like self-help books or like, because I'm reading them at the time to try and get better. And I was in therapy to try and get better. And it was like, it wasn't like an overnight shift or anything, but it just felt better to me. Literally the biggest thing is when I bombed, I would go, well, but I was closer to being me in that set. Whereas when I bombed, like doing like random kind of wordplay or like observational or like race jokes, I'm just like, it just doesn't feel good because I'm like, that's just not really me. And then they're like, this is what I realized later is like when I would bomb when I was like 21, I didn't realize it. It felt really bad because it wasn't me. But later I realized like when I bomb, I'm like, it doesn't feel good, but it's okay because at least I was doing what I enjoy and what I would like to see and what's true to me, as opposed to doing jokes I don't even really connect to and then bombing with those.
It's like bombing. It's just failing at a job you hate. Like you work at Jamba Juice and they're like, you fucking suck
yes.
at making Jamba Juice. I was like, I don't want to make Jamba Juice.
Exactly.
Why are you being mean to me? Yeah. I don't even want to do this.
That's the best analogy. Yeah.
But at least if you're failing at comedy, it's like, oh, I fucking love comedy, man.
I know.
Like,
I know.
love doing it.
And bombing in general, I feels bad, but I'm still okay with it in the end because I'm like, at least I'm doing the thing I want to do and I'm trying to do it. Whereas like no one does that.
Yeah.
Like in life in general, people just don't do that.
Don't do what?
But also like try at the things that they want to do. Right. Everyone's like literally like everyone in the world that I know is like, dude, I would love to be like a singer. And then they don't sing ever. 10 years later. Yeah. And they never sing.
Yeah.
They never
fucking try to sing.
Yeah.
It's a real shame, especially when you get close to people.
Yes.
Like friends or girlfriends or whatever. And it's like, so, especially a girl like, hey baby, so what do you need? What do you want? What are your dreams? What are your passions? Like, well, I just really want to be a chef. It's like, you should go do that. Go bake something. She's like, no. I'm like, well, then stop talking to me about it. Why don't you stop fucking bringing this shit up then?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just like, go do the thing. And what's interesting is like, we're doing this thing we both love to do, and it's it's fun, it's exciting, it's nerve-wracking, it's scary, it's highs and lows, and it feels like you feel like you're the best version of yourself and the worst.
Yeah.
On stage you're like, and then off stage you're like, I fucking hate Jamie's fucking new hilarious bit. This piece of shit. You know what I mean?
So true.
And it's like we're the best and worst version of ourselves.
Yeah.
But we're living.
Yeah.
And I wonder what people who aren't doing that feel like. Are they still going through this thing but just having no?
Yeah.
I don't even like it. I'm going through all this shit. I hate the journey because I'm feeling all these things and I don't even care about what I'm doing.
I know. That's part of that. That's literally that thought of like the way that's what I was thinking about. Cause during the pandemic, I only had a day job. And that was the thought I was considering is I'm like, damn, it sucks because like everyone feels these anxieties or these fears or has these negative experiences. And then they don't have an outlet to express them or connect with people as a result of them. And so I was like, it's really lucky that I have stand-up where I can say those things on stage and, people don't like it, but it feels good.
Yeah.
Even though people hate it a lot, it feels good for me to do it.
At least I'm getting, I mean,
but like one example is I'm like, when people will come up to me, it feels so good when people come up to me or like they message me after a show. One dude messaged me in Canada, like when I do my Oxy jokes, it feels good when they come up to me after and they're like, I used to do Oxy. That was fucking hilarious. I've had people do that in sets where the Oxy stuff fully bombs. And like there's one dude and I'm like, this guy did Oxy. And he'll come up to me after and be like, I did do Oxy. That was hilarious. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ultimately, it's not true of everyone, but I just don't see the point in even being alive as a person if you're not going to connect with people about shared experiences and like turn a negative experience into a way to connect to someone else. Yeah. But it is really hard because you're like saying embarrassing shit about yourself in front of a room, and that's just scary and sad. It's like the opposite of what your life is off stage. Like, because most people like act like really the opposite of that. They're like, yeah, I crush everything and like I get fucking pussy. I don't struggle, I always get hard.
Every time, no problem.
I'm hard as we speak.
Yeah.
But
sometimes
then
they're like, please, no hard. I can't give it to him. I can't give him soft. I want soft, please. Sorry, babe.
Sorry.
It's not who I am.
It only comes in one mode.
Yeah, that is a brutal thing that like other people not being able. I mean, some people are just stuck in themselves. Some people have a whole inner life. They have a whole inner life and they have an outer life, and there's a wall between that shit. And it's like, I feel like our job and like life spiritually, our job is to break that shit down and like make your inside outside and like figure out how to be a whole person, like I kind of think like, I don't know, whenever I think about like soul, the idea of soul, like, do I believe in like a fucking ghost inside of me that leaves my body when I die? No. But I do think it's like a metaphor for like when your mind, when your body are like when everything's in alignment, like that's you're in your fucking soul, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, but most people are like, they have their inner life and they go to work, right? And it's like it's like, no, you gotta get them shits together.
Yeah.
Like have a life where you can do all of it at the same time,
true, man.
at once, and we get to do that.
It's so lucky. That's literally you're kind of just saying the feelings I had when I stopped doing the old material I had been doing, because it was this weird thing of I'm doing these jokes that don't reflect how I feel at all. Mm-hmm. They just don't reflect my experiences or how I'm feeling.
Did therapy, did the books help you get to that point, or was this more after that?
I'm gonna be honest, like therapy didn't help at all, and like at all. And
I really question it.
The books helped a lot, but really what helped the most was stand up, to be honest. And I feel like that's why I'm a comic, is I'm like legit, like if I had never gone to therapy, I still feel like I would have matured in a similar way. I guess it was also partially the break from stand up too. It was like doing stand up but also taking a break from this thing. But no, it was not therapy. Therapy didn't help. It's not a bit, but I just had an idea of like, it's never worked, but I think for men, therapy's not as helpful, because for women, it's like then you need someone to listen to you and feel heard, because all day people just, when you try to talk, they go, stop.
Yeah.
Shh. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they say what you were about to say back to you. But for men, it's like we need.
You know what that thing you just said reminds me of? What you said, but from me.
But from my mouth saying what you were gonna say. But then for men, I'm like, I don't know if it definitely helps to connect to people. Like having a good friend that I felt comfortable sharing stuff with was really important for me. But also just like accomplishing stuff started making me feel better.
Yeah.
But
I wondered, because maybe this is you, but I remember, you talk about like social anxiety or anxious in general or something.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if anxiety is one of those weird things where it's like, have I ever been anxious? Definitely. But is it like a thing? Mm-hmm. Is it chronic? Mm-hmm. I still feel weird at parties. Sure. Is that normal? Do I have to go to the doctor for that?
Yeah.
Is that really a condition?
Yeah.
You know? Like I don't love meeting new people.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
I felt like once I started doing comedy, a lot of that, if you're going to call it social anxiety, kind of diminished, because like I'm doing improv, I'm doing stand up, I'm building confidence that way. Yeah. It's harder to do stand up than it is to have a conversation at a party. And so I'm doing the harder thing. So a party conversation is a walk in the park. So I wonder if that's the same for you. Like you just build confidence.
It was the opposite.
Okay.
Because it was like, I did build confidence through stand up, but it was like, I was also so young. Like I wasn't so young, but I was 20 and everyone else doing stand up was like 26, like minimum. My youngest friend was like 25, I think, when I was 20. Yeah. And then everyone else was like in their 30s in New York. Cause I moved here to start, and I was like getting the sense this is when I was really socially anxious. I was like getting the sense that these people didn't want to hang out with me or like care what I had to say. And the only reason was 100% true. Not made up at all. They didn't give a shit.
This was who? This was like the third
Every comedian, all the people. They legitimately also resented me. They wanted me to stop.
Yeah.
Like it was not in my head at all at that point.
That's really
at
funny.
all. It was just they're annoyed. They're like, I'm 32. We're at the same open mic. Fuck this guy. I don't want to listen to him. I don't want to. Certainly don't want to socialize with him. I hope he quits soon. And then over enough time, like 3 years in, it's more normal, but I'm still 23 and they're still like, now they're 35, you know, it's never quite breaking until like now I'm like 26 and all my friends are like my age or like a little older. Yeah. Now it feels more normal. But the only reason was like, I was an open micer. No one gives a shit about you when you're an open micer. I was really young. People don't want to talk to like a 20-year-old ever. I hate talking to 20-year-olds. Yeah. And then everyone else was older. And they resented the fact I was young in addition to the other 2 points. So it was just, my social anxiety was not made up in that context at all.
That's really fun. It's like going to therapy and being like, man, I just feel like my life sucks. It's like, it might be because your life sucks.
Have you considered that it's
that your
not
life
in your head
really
at all?
Does suck? You don't need a pill. You need a new life. Everything around you is really bad. That's fascinating.
But that's like, that was to me was... So anyway, the thing that started curing the social anxiety was I started getting more successful at stand-up, and people started wanting to talk to me and wanting to socialize with me and wanting to hear what I had to say.
Does that feel good, or I'm sure it felt good.
Yeah, it feels good.
It had to be a touch.
Do you know Casey James Salengo?
Oh, let me. You need to come out?
The slowest door open of all time. You got it.
You're not even coming in here, and you made a whole big show.
No one can even see what distracted us.
That was my roommate. Believe it, we're not in the studio. We're just in the corner of my apartment.
This isn't the set. He's read these books.
No. All this is my roommate.
He hasn't read these books.
No, I haven't.
I guess in that sense.
You think I read the complete 1994 to 1962? That can't be right.
Well, he didn't.
E. Cummings.
He didn't read that.
1994
I'll guarantee you.
To 1962.
Yeah, no. Most of these books were unread by the guy who owns them.
Yeah, but they're good books.
But they are good books. But my point was, Casey James Salengo. He has such a good quote where he's like, as soon as I got a Comedy Central half hour, everyone started treating me better. And someone was like, oh, so did you resent that? Was it annoying? And he was like, I love being treated well.
Yeah.
Why would I resent that at all?
Yeah.
You notice it, you clock it, but I'm still like, it's better that I'm treated well now than before. I don't want to still live that life to know how everyone actually feels about me.
Of course you don't want that, but there's still a part of me is like, I was just as good before.
Yeah, of course.
I was just as good before this, and now you're like, of course I like it. Of course I'm like, yeah, give me, thank you. But I'm still kind of like,
it's a good point.
I was pretty when I had my glasses on, and now I took them off and let my hair down, and suddenly you're like, oh,
just because the quarterback's interested, now you think I'm hot.
I'm like Bell the ball. It's not cool, man.
There is that part, but ultimately it's just better to be treated well than to be treated poorly.
Yeah,
I think. And then also, so that was it. And then really last year I just hit a breaking point of like just my life and being really anxious in general, not socially really, but mostly just about like where I'm headed and life in general. I was like, I had a sort of attack of like fear of my mortality. I was turning 26. Which isn't that old.
It's pretty laughable.
But it was the first age, like 25 is even cool, Yeah. It's the first age where nothing happens. You're only closer to dying.
I suppose.
Because 24 to 25, you're like, I'm really here. Mm-hmm. I'm 25, a quarter of a century. Mm-hmm. I've been alive. And then 26, it's like, you're closer to 30. That's literally the only thing.
I guess, I really felt that, I think at 20, when I got 28, I was like, whoa, this is like, eight's a... 8 is Ocho. Whoa, that feels weird.
Yes.
And then I just turned 30 last month in February, and like,
how did that feel?
It felt fine for the most part. It does. A new thought is in my head now, where like if something's I'm trying to get my computer to turn on and it's not working, and I'm like, God damn it, I'm 30. I'm too old for this shit, man. Like not like in a diehard way, but just in like I'm arguing with a girl, and I'm like, I'm 30. I don't have time. I'm dying.
Yeah.
I'm slowly dying. I don't have time for these little arguments. I don't have time for little shits and things not being how it needs to be.
Is that helpful though? Do you like that?
Yeah. I mean, I liked being young and being like, what's the problem? I'll figure it out. I got time. And and now I'm like, oh, okay. Oh my God. Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh God. I mean, like I'm glad, like my goal was to move to New York and turn 30 in New York. And I did that.
Oh,
I'm glad that I'm here and I'm trying. And it's like, there's an impatience that is ultimately a fear of death and mortality.
Of course.
Of being like, I want to gets this stuff out and write my jokes and get my message out there so that I can be successful, so that I can make a mark before I die. I mean, like, it really just comes down to that, really. And that's another one of the in the world, but being spiritual and being grounded. It's like I want to be like, hey man, like we're just moving and grooving, baby. Like it's all part of the but then I'm like, no, I do need to get this going. So it's weird. I do feel more adult in a real like I don't know how to describe it. I feel like and also I was just in a relationship that was like real serious, and it like I moved here and then it sort of decayed.
Yes.
And I was like all in, and then it decayed when I left. So I'm sort of like, oh fuck, like also on that shit. Like who's gonna be? I want to do all these things.
Yeah.
Who am I gonna do it with?
Yeah.
Who do I need to be to get the kind of person that I need to be with? And you know, it's I need to figure out what's going on in here so I can find somebody, because I do want a relationship to go through life with. And it's like, and then, you know, I'm a man, so, you know, we got it. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
Dating, you know, I'll find somebody when I'm 30, 40, 50. Who cares? I'll find somebody at some point,
lucky.
you know?
That's
who cares?
lucky.
But, like, it is kind of like, you know, I not that I've ever been on autopilot. I've always tried to be growth-oriented and aware, but there is a sense of, like, all right, you're in your 30s. You just had a great thing that didn't work out.
Yes.
And you really wanted... It showed me how like comedy and my dreams are like super important, but like a relationship is like foundational.
Yeah, it's,
like
it's beneath that.
It's more important than that. So I'm like, oh fuck, I want that more important thing in my life. How do I get it? What do I need? What is it even? How do I find it? How do I get it? How do I build that with somebody? How do I find the right person to build that with? Blah blah blah. So it's just a lot of that kind of stuff. And when you're 25, you're like, marriage? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, marriage? What are you talking about? I'm not even... that's a 30s thing, and I'm 30. I'm like, fuck, that's a now thing.
It's a today thing.
Yeah, you know?
I just turned 30.
And obviously, I don't care about that stuff so much. You know, I'm like, I got time. Well, you know, life keeps moving, but it is like something like those gears start turning.
Yeah. Is that what you're most anxious about, you think? The relationship? Like finding... relationship? Or
I mean, that's what I've been going through recently. Okay. Am I anxious about? I mean, I think since I think probably more comedy than anything. I just moved here, big city. I don't know how to navigate a scene like this.
Yeah,
I don't know how to get in anywhere. I don't know how to. It's really how I've been describing it is like, it feels like in Austin where I came up and I did well.
Yeah,
we were playing tennis, and then I come here and like we're playing badminton, and I'm like, it's close, but it's not. It's different.
It's so different.
And so like it feels like I'm like, okay, I got to try new things to. It's a real like. I feel like I'm 23 again, and I'm like... I was going
to say it's almost like going... Yeah, you feel younger because you're experiencing all this new shit for the first time, and you're figuring out things. That was kind of the blessing, I guess, of being in New York from when I was beginning, but you don't have to start over because you started here.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to start over if you move somewhere else, but you're right. That really... It's probably good, though, because like once after 25, you kind of need to insert new experiences, because otherwise it gets too rote and too routine, and you need to break out and experience new shit. And
but you know the thing
can
is,
be good for you.
It's I'm less open to it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't. Whenever I came here and I was like, I felt like I was 23 again. I was angry and resentful at the universe. Of course, I was like, what? I already did this already. I did this already. Of course. Are you fucking serious? I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I go through here and I'm in New York, it's like, Tyler Groce, he's in New York. He's a New York guy. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to LA. I'm not doing this again. I'm not starting over.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done.
But in general, do you have that, like... Are you that kind of a person where you're like, because I will find no matter what it is a reason to be like, fuck this, like I already did that, or like kind of annoyed or negative or pessimistic. Right. But are you that kind of a person? Like you're like, were you like that in Austin? You're like, fuck, I've been here so long, I need more respect. Do you know what I mean?
I became that way.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Because I kind of feel that like.
The best and worst parts, it brings it all out at you.
Yeah. I feel like attitudes like that, like. Not like that one specifically, but in my attitude in comedy has always been like, fuck that. I fucking deserve more than this shit. I deserve more. And then like just like not you, but like just to myself, I'm like, you don't deserve any. No one deserves anything. Yeah. The people I've seen that are really successful, no one deserves to be that successful.
Right.
Literally no one I've ever met deserves that amount of money and influence, etc. So I'm like, I don't know. Deserve is just a word that I'm like, you got to stop thinking that way. Yeah. You got to think my day to day. I'm like, I have to think about what am I talking about? Do I care about it? and then how do I make it funny? Those are really the main things for me to focus on to feel happy, because otherwise I get distracted by all this like resentment and all this shit that it doesn't matter. And this is like the realization I had like 3 years ago is I'm like, look, when all's said and done, like Van Gogh wasn't appreciated in his time. Not comparing myself to Van Gogh. I'm saying that mortality is, it's not permanent for everyone else. Like you dying, like let's say in 20 or 50 years, I have a joke that makes someone feel less alone. Even if in my lifetime, I don't make money from comedy and I'm not professional, it's still worth it to help make that person feel less alone. Because when I started comedy, the reason I started or wanted to do it was I saw a bit of like, I was getting high all the time and I was really like using it to mask a lot of insecurity and anxiety. And I saw a bit of Louis just telling a story about getting too high, and he didn't even present it in a way
it's one of his best ones.
It's one of his best ones. He didn't even present it in a way of like, doesn't this experience suck? Isn't it like so scary? He just presented it in a really funny way, and he made me go like, fuck, like that is just funny. It's not that serious. Because when you're living the I'm too high guy life, when you're that person in that moment, it's so scary. But then after, like, I went home when I was too high and I watched that bit somehow on YouTube, and I realized I'm like, oh, you can also see it from a perspective of it's just funny. Yeah. You know, and it kind of robs it of the scariness. If you approach everything in the way of like, I just want to bring levity and humor to the suffering, you can almost always find something funny about it. Yeah. And so that's kind of what's driven me since then. I'm like, let's try and give someone else that experience, because it really made me feel okay. I was like, every time I got too high after that, I would kind of think it's funny again. Mm-hmm. I would be like, because it would remind me of that bit.
You know, it really makes me, because I wonder sometimes, because you know a lot of this is because there is an ego pursuit. Yeah. You know, like that part, the resentment, I call that like, I'm like, there's a monster in me. Yeah. There's a monster in there. Yeah. And he's got some very persuasive things to say. But like, I know that ultimately it's like, what am I saying? How am I connecting? What am I bringing out? Yeah. That kind of a thing. And even I wonder where it's like the monster's like, but you should still do it. And I'm like, maybe even that's not right. Maybe like I would do better fucking sending mosquito nets to Africa, or like, you know, doing something that would change people's lives or actually help people in a more real way. But then, you know, you do remember those moments where you're fucking like somebody and you looked at comedians and they made you feel a certain way, or even just in a room, like, you know, people don't laugh and they come to a show and they get to fucking laugh. Yeah. And that's like that's, I wonder, like, are we heroes or are we just ego maniacs? Like I wonder which ones are we?
It's so true. Yeah. It's such a thin line. Well, I think of it like the end result, but like the emotion you're creating in the person, because I can say that about that bit, the Louis bit that I saw. I'm like, wow, that made me feel less alone and connected, and it kind of robbed the scary moment of its scary power. Right. And then that's what it can be. And then I watch Chris D'Elia be like, you ever notice when black dudes laugh, they don't just laugh, they relocate. And I'm like, oh, that's not a good version of it.
It's not a great version.
To me.
It's something, you know.
Because I'm going, but here's why to me. Right. Is because I'm going, but I was never afraid in that moment. I wasn't like, wait, where's he going? Wait, hold on. Where is he off to now?
Yeah. Yeah. And I you know what? I think that really comes across in what you're doing, is like you're trying to touch something deep and have it resonate in yourself, and then have it resonate in other people.
Yeah, I have a bit I feel proud of in that way. It's like I was like, so my dick wasn't working so hard that I thought I was gay. I was like, maybe I'm secretly gay. And I watched a gay porn and I felt like really ashamed and bad for like years. And then I did it as a bit, and it like did really well. Right. I not immediately, but over time it started doing really well. And I was like, damn, that kind of makes me feel good, because I'm like, I carried it around as like this shameful secret, and then as I brought it out into the world, I'm like, fuck it, it's kind of funny. Like, that's kind of silly. Like, if it once you bring all of the shameful shit and you start talking about it, you do realize it's not as bad as it was in your head.
Right.
And it's kind of just hilarious to be a straight guy watching gay porn and being like, okay.
It's really funny.
I don't think this is my thing.
It's really fun. I have a bit about a gay experience I had, and it's one of these things where I'm like, oh, I didn't like that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm like, I don't know. It's like, how do I even talk about it on stage? And then I start talking about it on stage. It's one of my best bits.
Exactly.
Number one, and then number two, I don't even view it as what it was.
Exactly.
I'm just like, oh, that's my closer.
Yeah.
That's my closer.
That's my best joke.
And it's like, whoa, did that really happen? I don't care. Did you not see it fucking crush? Are you kidding me?
Did it really happen? Did it really get a laugh?
Hold on, let me check the time because I think we're time on the fucking. Okay, we got about 16 minutes.
Okay.
Until I need to either change the memory card.
Okay.
Or I can kill myself when I do. Okay.
Yeah, that's. Did it really? Yeah, I know. That's like the feeling that. That's kind of the best part. It's like kind of the worst part, but also the best is like you're commodifying and packaging experiences that you felt a ton of different ways about. And then you're simplifying it into just the most positive way to feel about it, which is to laugh about it,
Yeah.
But that's also not that human. There's also like a weird tension there because it isn't that human to like, not that experience, but like any really bad experience is like also tinged with a lot of sadness and harm and like real anger or shame, and it's coming from a dark place. So just making it funny, as we were talking about before, it's not fully addressing the emotional truth of the experience, but at the same time, it is like, I don't know, it is helpful.
Yeah.
You can't think, I can't like start thinking like, oh, that's all that my dick problems were. It was just funny.
Well, I think
because it's not that.
Right. But I think we are saying like, but it also is funny.
Exactly.
Like, oh, my mom died. It's terribly sad.
Yeah.
But there were some funny parts in there.
Yes, exactly.
So let's not paint with one color. Like, let's also acknowledge there's some fucking funny moments in there.
Yes.
I've been wanting to write because I'm going through relationship stuff. Whenever it was high, I wanted to talk about how good it was, and whenever it just ended, and I want to talk about that. But I also don't know how to talk about it because it just gets. I don't know. I want to be a comic. I would love to have some Mike Birbiglia skills and be able to like.
Yeah.
Weave a story that feels in motion impactful. But then whenever I talk about it, I'm like, man, you ever notice how women fucking are bitches? Like I have no like there's no way I can get it out.
I know.
In a way, I don't know. It seems like maybe you're better at that.
No, I feel the same way.
Because you're talking about these things and like I guess they are jokes about it, but you know what I mean? Like I guess what I want to do is just bring the emotion on the stage.
That's exactly it.
And I don't know.
Yes.
It's too raw.
Yes.
Or it's too, or like these truths of like these relationship truths that you have, but they're not funny. It's just like, a sobering reality thing. And it's like, how do I bring what happened to me and how I got to that moment in the emotion and just put it on the stage, but you also laugh at it? Is that what this art form even is?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it not? Yeah. Poetry is emotion and making you feel a way. This is to make you laugh, but I also want you to understand where I'm coming from. And I wish I could just take the emotion, put it on the stage, and laugh at it. From an honest place, too. I'm not going to be like, oh, I was so fucking sad. What a fucking loser. But I want to be like, I was like sad.
I know.
And have them be like, I've been there. And then they laugh when I don't know how to do. I guess that's.
You're connecting on multiple levels, not just the level of like levity. When was this relationship? When did it end? Has it ended?
Like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe now's not the best time.
No, that is my point though, is like, all of the jokes I've made work about these experiences were never during or even close to after.
Really?
It was like with the aid of time, it gives you more perspective, but for sure, like none of this shit. I didn't like the day I watched gay porn to see if I was gay. I didn't go on stage and start talking. You know what I mean? Because part of it is
so different with gay porn. On straight porn, the ads are like on gay porn. Whoa, it's really.
Gay guys fuck different.
They do.
You ever notice how straight guys hump? Gay guys don't hump like that. I don't know. But
I was like, yeah.
Oh, you thought it was
I was like, you got something?
You're like, this is a good premise. No, but
it's not a bad one.
My point is, sometimes there's too much other emotion attached to experiences in your head or in you to bring it on stage and make it work in a comedy way.
Yeah.
Like even Birbiglia, all of his stuff, like I saw his show about having a kid. And that kid's in college. I'm his kid. It's about me.
That's what he's not telling anybody.
He made it work 20 years later. No, but that is the point. Is like his kid was 3 or 4 when he was touring that show.
Yeah.
It was not about...
Yeah,
it wasn't like he was having the child going on stage being like, I didn't want to have a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was later he was able to weave it into a narrative.
Yeah, I wish I could, you wish you could just put the needle on the record and just have be able to just play your life in a hilarious way.
Yeah. I know. But even like Pryor, Pryor's my favorite comedian of all time. And all of his bits, he doesn't go on stage and talk about like smoking crack and then shooting the car when he got into a fight with his wife that day. Yeah. It is like with the aid of time and also attempts at making it funny. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think we are running out of time for memory cards and, it's been a good chat. I appreciate you coming through. At the end, I asked for advice because this is me trying to steal your success and beat you in it. So just kind of going over what we just talked about. Give me some advice on, just drugs.
Oh, on drugs?
Yeah. Oxycontin specific or otherwise?
Oh, well, for Oxycontin, I would kind of stay away. Oxycontin specifically is, you shouldn't start. You shouldn't even try it. Most drugs, I would say, try them once. Almost every drug except like Oxy. Because like shrooms, I feel like I got something out of the experience. Acid, I feel like I got something out. Oftentimes, even when I smoke weed, especially as it relates to comedy, I'll get something out. Like I'll start seeing things in just a slightly different way, in a way that's kind of funny. But as it relates to Oxy, just truly don't even try it because you don't get anything out of it. And you can do you don't get anything out of it because you could be friends with the people you're friends with while you do other things.
Right.
So you won't get anything out of Oxy.
Okay.
My advice to you would be don't try Oxycontin.
Okay. I'll take a half.
But also my advice in general is don't take advice from people. That's kind of the best advice I've ever got. Oh, shit? Yeah. It's kind of the best advice I ever got.
Never take advice. That was the best advice. Drake.
Really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is the best. It is the best advice.
Well, you're kind of fucking up the premise of the podcast, Jamie, but I'm going to keep asking.
Oh, really? Is that the
I'm asking you for advice. That's the end of
this. Well then don't.
But it's fine. I appreciate that.
Then don't do Oxycontin. And
advice on therapy.
Oh no, we didn't even get to this.
Okay.
This is my advice is if you have some kind of psychological problem, say anxiety, some kind of mental illness, always try medication in addition to other solutions. Because I didn't even get to it, but last year I had like the crazy crisis when I got a dog and I was just I was spiraling and I got on Zoloft and it just totally changed my life.
You're still on it?
Yeah.
What was the spiral?
I was like, I have a tendency to it was also tied to my mortality, but I'm like, I'm going to die. I got this fucking dog. It's ruining the time that I have to spend working on comedy and oh fuck, my comedy isn't like my career isn't going well for like 5 months. Like I haven't gained any followers. I'm not selling many tickets. Like I was having these spirals as it related to anxiety, but about anything. That's the issue is I got a dog. That was the genesis of all the feelings, but it wasn't limited to the dog. The anxiety was sparked by the dog, but then it grew like some kind of like that, that black mold in Spider-Man 3.
Sure, yeah.
Like it just overtook all of me. So every facet of my life I could look at in that negative, pessimistic way. And it became this unbreakable groove in my head, like a record playing over and over that I couldn't get out of.
The dog was the source. Or do you think it was a chronic condition?
It was the source, but it was also a genuinely chemical issue.
Okay.
So I still don't like my dog, and it still makes me really anxious. I cried today about it because of how annoying it is and how much responsibility I feel towards taking care of this thing and being responsible for its life. But in general, I've gotten on Zoloft, and that doesn't transfer to other parts of my life now. So I still really am anxious about the dog when I'm with it, when I'm taking care of it, but it doesn't like seep into other parts.
Right. Huh.
Because it's like a chemical fix.
It's maybe is it like you have anxiety? Everyone has anxiety, and then yours just kind of takes over your life.
Yeah, exactly.
And me, I'm like, oh, I'm really anxious about this, and then I'm like, but I'm hanging out with my friends right now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas for me, it would.
And then that's like a break because I get to like, okay, I'm anxious, but then I get a break.
Yes.
And then you're like, there's no break.
There's no break until now. There is a break, which is I'm not with my dog right now, so I feel okay. When I am with my dog, I still kind of feel very anxious and annoyed, and I'm gonna have to talk to my girlfriend about that, but because she wanted the dog.
Why don't you? What would it make you feel better if you were like, hey, this is now your dog?
Yeah, but we live together.
Yeah, but at least maybe you can trick your brain like it's not my dog.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like,
totally.
hey, it's not my dog.
We definitely have to talk about it. I'll tell you that.
Whoa.
But anyway, my point is the Zoloft helped. It really changed my life in that way. Like, yeah, it helped a lot. So don't do Oxycontin. And then if you think meds might help, try it.
Okay. And then I think because we're running low on time.
Yes.
What's your advice for me on how to beat you?
Beat me?
Mm-hmm. Just like win against Jamie v. Tyler. I win. How do I do that?
Like physically or mentally?
Yes.
Physically, my balls. I mean, pretty obviously, my ball. Just go for the balls.
That soft dick is going to be protecting them.
You think it lies all the way in front?
Yeah,
that's
I think
sweet. You're a nice guy, man.
Hey, well, you know.
No, but then mentally, it would be make me feel like probably just start an anxiety spiral, really. So just tell me things aren't going to work out would be my advice to trigger something. You could do it about any part of my life. Go, your girlfriend, you guys are fighting about the dog. It's because you'll break up eventually. It's not going to work out for you. Yeah. You know? You could do that about literally anything.
Damn.
Oh, comedy, you haven't gained followers in 6 months because you're bad. It's not going to work out. You could do that with anything for me.
Well, that's like a. Most people are like, you can beat me, you can suck my dick. That's how you beat me.
Suck my
and then
dick.
You're like, no, you can just say anything. I'm very fragile. I'm like, oh, this is sad.
What about you? Wait. How would I beat you?
I'm trying to learn from other people.
Oh,
to
you
figure
don't say
out
it?
I don't know. I don't have anything. If you were gonna beat me, be a real confident, social, networky, but butterfly. Like, hey, come on, guy, come on. Like Trump, but cool. You know?
Yeah.
Like be like Trump, but cool. Like you just erase me. Be like, hey, look at this guy. Give me a noogie. I'm like, I'm out of here.
That's a good one.
I'm out of here.
That's good.
Tell people where they can find you.
Oh, Jamie Wolf Comedy on Instagram. I don't really post.
You don't?
No, I stopped posting. But
okay. You take breaks.
Jamie Wolf Comedy on Instagram. Really just sign up for my email list and listen to my podcast. I have an email list. I tour live stand-up. It's on my website, jamiewolfcomedy.com. And then listen to my podcast, Sobriety Podcast and Wolf Family Therapy Podcast. I have 2 different ones. So you'll be on it, actually.
Hell yeah. Jamie Wolf, thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, man.
Appreciate it. Bye.